Okay, let's turn to the big breaking news. We've been telling you about the diplomatic efforts that are going on back channel. Now sources telling India today, Imran Khan has offered a joint probe into the Pulwama terror attacks. Pakistan Prime Minister is now seeking talks with Prime Minister Modi. Sources say India is yet to respond to the Pakistan offer. But Imran Khan had publicly said this afternoon he wanted to have a phone conversation with the Prime Minister. And we are told in that phone conversation, he is ready to offer a joint probe with India into Pulwama and the alleged involvement of the Jaish-e-Mohammed. That's the big story that's coming at the moment. Our Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan is in Abu Dhabi at that OIC meeting. Geeta, so far, India has not responded to Imran Khan. Is there any sign that that could change?
Well, you're right, Rajdeep. Right now, there has been no response from the Indian side. The Pakistani PMO has reached out to the Indian Prime Minister's office and are still waiting for a response. But meanwhile, what we're learning is that Imran Khan, in no uncertain words, is going to offer joint probe in any of the investigations that India wants carried out, be it the Pulwama terror attack or if there are any other additional evidences against any terror networks. What we're talking about is Masood Azhar and the Jaish-e-Mohammed. So big development there. Pakistan trying to reach out this at a time when Pakistan has been indeed cornered by the international community, but a gesture there by Pakistani administration to reach out to the Indian government. We will have to wait and see whether if Prime Minister Narendra Modi will agree and respond to the requests of the Pakistani Prime Minister's office.
Okay, so that's the big story that Geeta Mohan is getting us here at the top of the hour. Pakistan now pushing the envelope, but will India respond? India has been holding firm so far, saying they want to see more concrete, visible action by Pakistan against the Jaish-e-Mohammed. Let's turn to some of the big questions I want to raise this evening. Will the pilots return? Will Wing Commander Abhinandan's return actually de-escalate tension? That's one of the questions we'll pose. How should India really be responding now to Imran Khan's latest offer? Is diplomatic pressure slowly working on Pakistan? Will Pakistan actually act on the proof that India has provided into the involvement of groups like the Jaish-e-Mohammed? That's some of the questions that we're going to raise tonight. I'm joined by special guest Raj Chengappa, India Today's editorial director, joining me, and you can show the cover that you've got, Raj, I believe, of the latest India Today, where you're looking at this whole issue of India and Pakistan. Good to have you on the show. That's the new issue. Praveen Soni, senior defense analyst, editor of Force magazine, also joining us. Vivek Kajju, former Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs, who's tracked Pakistan and Afghanistan closely for decades with us. Lieutenant General Satish Dua, former Chief of Integrated Defense Staff at the Indian Army, with us. And Air Marshal Anil Chopra is also with us. Also joining me from Pakistan, Wajat S. Khan is also joining me at the moment. Appreciate all of you joining us there at the moment. The news coming in is that Pakistan has made, in a sense, this offer on a phone call. Raj Chengappa, your first reactions to this. Are you seeing this as a genuine attempt by Pakistan to try and further ease the tension? Because let's be clear, even after Pathankot, when our army was attacked, they wanted a joint probe. We even allowed the ISI to come, and still we had Uri. Can we trust Pakistan and Imran Khan at the moment?
Well, I think this is certainly a silver lining on what was really a crisis point, a flash point. We have seen tensions ratchet up, and there was a tendency to spiral out of control. I think the efforts of the US and other countries, as clearly we have seen President Trump tweet about it, has shown some fruit, with Pakistan making that gesture. Now, of course, India has to evaluate the question of whether Prime Minister Modi should talk to Imran Khan. I think he should, but he should tell him what we really want. And what did we do? I think we have given a dossier which points to the JM involvement in Pulwama, and is asking Imran Khan to keep to his word that if he got this, he would act immediately and do so. So we need concrete, to move forward, we need to see that Imran Khan is serious about our real problem, which is JM continues to flourish over there. We might have struck them, but their top leaders exist. We are giving evidence to show their camps are there. What is the action you're going to take on that? The second,
yes.
Yeah, no, I think we've also moved, both sides now are looking for an exit out of this, so that temperatures could cool down. Obviously, we don't want to escalate to a war. So India has made a significant point by striking deep inside the heart of Pakistan territory and saying, if tomorrow there is an act, another terror act, we will take punitive action against you. Pakistan has tried to, to counter that by saying we will also have a riposte to this. So I think both sides are now saying, can we get out of this by claiming victory?
Can we get out of this by claiming victory, or at least a draw in a sense, using cricketing terminology? But Wajad Khan, is the Pakistani establishment under pressure? Pressure from the Saudis, pressure from America, in a way to try and de-escalate? Because really, it is Pakistan which is going to have to act on the Jaish-e-Mohammed in some concrete manner. There's a UN security resolution now being moved to declare Masood Azhar as a global terrorist. I want to understand, is there a conscious attempt being made by Pakistan, in your view, to actually act against the likes of Masood Azhar? Do you see that happening?
Well, Rajdeep, good evening from a very serene seaside apartment in Karachi. Things are fine as far as for the establishment is concerned. Well, the official version you're going to get is, the official version is that Pakistan, there is same-pagedness, if you want to call it that, between Imran Khan and Rawalpindi, where the army resides. And usually Pakistan's, what's plagued Pakistan is the infamous civil-military divide. We feared that in previous conflicts, that because the elected leadership aren't on the same page, that's where problems with India, with the Afghans, with the Americans usually arise and aren't solved. In this case, firstly, there's a remarkably serene same-pagedness. There's a national unity between Rawalpindi and Islamabad, between the Pakis and the board. And that has provided both the deep state as well as the elected government here, which is not so deep, it's only 8 months old, a very interesting and very resonant unity. Media's
I'm going to come back to you because I'm having some problem with the audio, but I'm getting your basic message. I'm having some problem with the audio, but I'm getting your basic. You're claiming Imran Khan and the military in Pakistan are on the same page at the moment. Interesting the way you're putting it. Vivek Kajju, can we therefore take it out? What is being suggested by analysts in Pakistan, that Imran Khan has that one advantage over a Nawaz Sharif or indeed over a Zardari or a Bhutto, that he actually is a man of the army. He's been put in there because he's the face of the army. So when he speaks today, he speaks with the backing of General Bajwa. Can we take the Pakistanis at face value now when they say that today?
No, we've never been able to take them at face value, and we never should. Let us not forget that they ousted Nawaz Sharif because he wanted good relations with India. He had raised very inconvenient questions about the progress of the Mumbai attack trial and about Pakistan's the army's entire approach to terrorism and fomenting terrorism in India. So if Imran Khan and the army are on the same page, and the army ensured that Imran Khan won that election, then as of now I'm not surprised. But it is not of two equals being on the same page. It is being the master and the puppet being on the same page. So let's leave Imran Khan aside for the moment. The persons who matter in Pakistan, as they've always had with regard to its India policy, are the generals. Now, what are the generals saying? Have their initial reflexes after Pulwama and after Balakot have been entirely in keeping with their past practice? Where have they changed? First, they wanted actionable intelligence. We've been hearing of actionable intelligence and it's laughable. We've been hearing of this for 3 decades. After every incident, they want actionable intelligence. Then, the offer of a joint investigation team, is that new? The real thing that matters is Pakistan going to give up the use of terror from its strategic doctrine? That is the crucial issue. Is there any evidence as of now that they will? No, indeed. The
Are we saying we should rebuff
experience
Imran?
shows us that Pakistan
Are you
is
saying
very
we should
chuffed up
rebuff?
at the moment.
Are you saying we should rebuff Imran
No,
Khan?
I'm not saying. No, I'm not. I'm saying we should be extremely cautious about what Imran Khan is saying.
Okay.
And we should keep our focus on one thing and one thing alone. And that is treating Pakistani terror as a strategic challenge to India and determining that we will end it through the use of all our national power.
Okay.
And I mean all, not only military power, but that everything.
Okay,
because
but
they will not change their spots easily.
you know, given what you're saying, given what is being suggested here, Lieutenant General Duat, how do you see it do you see a de-escalation possible now? If you see the statement of the three service chiefs, and I'll play it out in a moment, they spoke about that India was ready to reach out provided Pakistan did not resort to a provocative act. That Pakistan must end the provocative acts, must end acts of aggression, effectively suggesting if there is another terror attack, we reserve the right to strike again.
Yes, Rajdeep, as a military man, I see that we've achieved what we wanted to achieve. Pakistan has for long been exporting terror, smug in the confidence that we are not sending terrorists across and we won't strike across. 2 years ago, we did a surgical strike very close to the LOC. This time round, after Pulwama attack, we've struck deep inside their territory by these very well carried out precision airstrikes. Now, we've achieved our objective. They have retaliated. In the dogfight yesterday, we all know what has happened. Be that as it may, as we heard in the press briefing,
Just a
as
minute,
far
sorry,
as military
General.
objective is concerned,
No, what is the
that has been
objective we've
achieved.
achieved? I want to understand, what is the objective we've achieved? What is the objective we've achieved? Pakistan claims there has been no damage to Balakot.
Right.
Pakistan claims that they still do not concede that the Jaish-e-Mohammed is using terror against India. What have we achieved then? Is the question I will ask. What is this objective we've achieved?
All right. Let me answer that, and that's a good question. What was our objective? Let's not go about seeing what was the damage, how many camps were hit, how many casualties were caused. But the larger point is, for the second time now, after I was at the helm of affairs when Uri happened and when we did the surgical strikes, I was the co-commander in Srinagar. Thereafter, a lot of people have asked me, why haven't we had another surgical strike? Now, this was an occasion where our country has come out of that soft state status and we have gone and hit across deep inside, because they had moved the terrorists away from the camps close to the LOC as we were getting the intelligence input after Pulwama attack on the 14th. So what we have achieved is that no longer can Pakistan be smug in the confidence that just because they were sending terrorists across, a very low-cost option for last 30 years, India is not doing anything. We always have this nuclear bogey. I think it was it was almost a risk-taking by the leadership and the military, but we have struck across.
Okay, I get your point,
to answer
General.
your question squarely.
No, I get your point.
That now onwards,
We've drawn a line in the sand. I think you've said it very clearly. We've drawn a line in the sand.
That is the objective.
Air Marshal Chopra, do you believe we've drawn a line in the sand enough for us to back off? Let's be very clear, Air Marshal Chopra. In the past, India has been accused, for example, in Pathankot, of allowing the ISI to come for this so-called joint probe, and then we had Uri. Do you believe that we are too early into this conflict, if I may use the word, to now back off and de-escalate?
Absolutely, Rajdeep. Firstly, the armed forces briefing today has brought in a lot of clarity on what actually happened. The success of the non-military strike has been clearly spelt out, and I'll explain that in a little more detail just now. Thereafter, there has been a military strike against us, which has been responded by the huge force of MiG-21 Bison aircraft, of Su-30s and Mirage 2000. They could not penetrate deep enough. They came in only 6 to 7 kilometers deep. They did drop some bombs in the military areas. That means they did target military targets. Nothing happened on the ground.
The actual shooting of the aircraft has been explained in great detail. A missile has been shown which can be flown only in F-16. Now let me tell you what is the success of this strike that we have carried out. 12 aircraft targeting as deep as 50 to 60 kilometers inside using laser guided and GPS guided bombs, and I must tell you a total of 12 bombs have been released, and the accuracy of these bombs is 1 to 3 meters, and normally at least 11 or 10 of them should have surely hit their targets. Now it is not for us. The media briefing by the military has been clearly stated that we cannot go into the details of how many numbers killed, etc., which will be separately ascertained.
Marshal, I am asking you a more specific question. Also, can we have limited time? I am coming to a more specific question. I want to know, is this enough? Have we done enough to send out a firm message to Pakistan today? Have we done enough? A quick answer to that. Have we done enough in your view to now start de-escalating?
Undoubtedly we have sent out a message, but the matter has not closed. The escalation level has not stopped yet. I totally disagree that we should allow them to come for a joint probe in Pulwama. We know that by allowing them to come to Pathankot, we let them have a look at the entire air assets. Nothing has come out of that till today. So they're coming to Pulwama. On the other side, what Indian government should be telling them, we should have a joint probe of the terrorist camps that we have given to them in the dossiers that we have presented.
Point
because
taken.
The whole aim of this exercise was anti-terror. Whatever happened in Pulwama has happened. Now we have suffered, but what we want to stop in future is the terrorism, and if at all there has to be a joint probe, it should be in their territory. We should go and expose the camps that they have got over there, which have been seen by satellites, which have been seen by UAVs. The whole world knows where the camps are.
Limited time.
So,
Marshal, I have limited time, sir. Let me come to you, Praveen Soni. Let's be very clear. You know, the army men on my program are saying the military objectives have been fulfilled in a way, and there is no question of allowing Pakistan to come for a joint probe. Your view as an independent journalist, do you believe these objectives have been fulfilled? Have we really sent out that message which will make Pakistan do what they didn't do after 2001 Parliament attack or 2008 Mumbai?
Right, so we have lost. And here is the reason
for that. We have lost?
Yes, and here is the reason for that. When we went in and did the strike, the Indian Air Force did the strike, we said this was a strike on non-military targets. And it was done at night. We were able to surprise them and we came back. What they do the next morning is, in broad daylight, they actually try and hit, and we have admitted at the 7 o'clock meeting, the officers have admitted that they were trying to hit the military installations, and they admitted this was an act of war. What we did was a non-military thing. What they did in broad daylight was an act of war, which we have admitted, which basically means that they were prepared for an escalation. Now, what we do to that is that we say that we will de-escalate, we will, if they do anything further, then we'll do that. Now, if we understand this fundamental thing, that how we tried to push the military power and it backfired, then we will immediately realize why Imran Khan has done what he has done. Because
how has it backfired? How has it backfired?
It has backfired because against our hitting of non-military targets, they do an act of war and we do not do anything further. We admit it was an act of war. The officers have admitted in the press meet, but we did not do anything. We simply kept quiet and made a statement that if they provoke us further, then we will hit back. Now, here, Rajdeep, one thing more. Are we going back to the situation of 1999 when Kargil was forced on us? Are we going back to Operation Parakram 2001-2002 when we know what happened? Are we going back to 2008 when Mumbai happened? The long and short is, please, for God's sake, build up your war fighting capabilities.
You know, those are very strong words in a way. I just want to play out what was said by the three representatives of the service forces, and then we'll take this forward. Listening to what they said today in that press conference, which gave the signal that while they were exposing what Pakistan had done along our border, They were reserving the right to strike back if provoked further. Listen in.
Pakistan also stated that no F-16s were used in the operation and no Pakistani plane was downed by Indian Air Force. There is enough evidence to show that F-16s were used in this mission through the electronic signatures, and thereafter the Pakistan is trying to hide this fact. Also, parts of AMRAAM air-to-air missile, which is carried only on the Pakistan F-16s, was recovered east of Rajouri within the Indian territory. Therefore, the fact remains that one F-16 of PAF was shot down by IF MiG-21 Bison. There have been many factually incorrect statements that have been made by Pakistan. The first blatant disinformation was that 2 IAF aircraft were shot down by Pakistan and 3 pilots of Indian Air Force were downed. This figure was later revised downwards to 2 IAF aircraft and 2 pilots. The fact, however, is that Indian Army units had reported sighting 2 parachutes falling in POJ and K, which were of 2 F-16 pilots, the aircraft which was shot down by the MiG-21. Pakistan later in the evening changed its statement to say that 1 Indian pilot was in their custody. Therefore, it was only by late evening that Pakistan accepted the fact.
There is this perception management game also going on. Yesterday, Pakistan says, we first said they've downed 2 Indian jets, then it comes to 1. India now makes it very clear we've downed an F-16. Pakistan was using F-16s across the board. I'm just trying to understand. There are 2 parallel streams working. There seems to be one talking a piece, the other making it clear. The 2 sides are still engaged in some war of brinkmanship here, which could still escalate out of control.
Yeah, I don't think this is over. I think each side is spinning a narrative which will want to convince their domestic audience as to what is the outcome of this. But let's take the argument whether India succeeded or failed in its effort in this time. What was our objective? We demonstrated that we would strike deep into Pakistan by using air or any other vector means, unlike before where we were stopping only at the LOCs. This is the first time since 1971 that we have gone and struck Pakistan deep in its territory, what they call the mainland. The second thing you have signaled also is that in future, if you do that, we have expanded that thing, the ability to strike. Having sent that message very clearly to them, they of course came back with another message saying that, look, we can also do the same. But there is an international community that is also watching this, as we have seen, and the pressure is on. Now is stage 2. We are giving evidence. It doesn't mean that we are not going to hit back against Pakistan for what they did yesterday. We are saying, you said you would act on actionable intelligence or whatever words you use. We are giving you evidence. Call your bluff.
Where is the evidence that Pakistan is dismantling the terror infrastructure?
That's the point.
Where is that happening?
That's the point.
So to that extent, what have we achieved is a question that Praveen Soni and others are asking. I mean, we've drawn a new line in the sand. Tomorrow if there's a terror attack, are we saying that we will strike in Pakistan? Let's be very clear.
Yeah,
if there is a terror strike in any part of India, is India making it clear?
Absolutely.
We will go ahead and strike.
Absolutely.
We will go inside Pakistan, escalate it further.
Absolutely. And you see what we have to do in
Wajad Khan, I just want...
just a final point on this. What we have to do also is it doesn't mean we have to keep acting immediately. We have to bring international opinion. International opinion was that India did the right thing by doing it. They hit a terror group. We have to brief the international opinion that Pakistan has violated all these things. Meanwhile, we do what we have to do. Step by step, you corner them on various fronts. You've gone to the UN Security Council saying, look, we are now giving you fresh evidence. Why isn't China lifting objections against the Jaish? So you are working at multiple ends. I don't think we've lost. This is a game we need to play.
It's a game we need to play. Wajad Khan, is Pakistan realizing this is a battle that you can't win anymore? The fact is, international opinion today is turning against Pakistan if you continue to patronize and promote the likes of Masood Azhar and the Jaish. Has Pakistan recognized that? You said earlier to me that the army and Prime Minister Khan are working in concert. But the Pakistani army is the one which has spawned the likes of Masood Azhar and Hafiz Saeed. So I want to know, do you see any change in that? Is there any change in Pakistan's core policy of using terror as a strategy against India to bleed us with 1,000 cuts?
Again, I think it's worth a reality check that it's probably Pakistan, Rajdeep, optically, which has emerged as a winner. I'm sorry, I am using that term. I know, and it's not over yet. But in these last couple of days, it seems that Imran Khan seems to be the darling of South Asia right now. Go on Indian Twitter, go on Pakistani Twitter, go to The Guardian, go to the New York Times. He's being praised for his statesmanship. The Pakistani military is being praised by your own officer, who is under custody. The law, the international laws, the Geneva Conventions are being followed. Khan has really won the optical battle between himself and your Prime Minister. And if you want to call the Pakistan army the big bad wolf, go right ahead. But as far as
the big bad wolf, I'm only going by
the narrative.
I can go by terror strike after terror strike. Today when Pakistan says let's have a joint probe on Pulwama, why should India trust it? Wajad Khan, you saw what happened after Pathankot. We had Uri, we allowed the ISI despite great criticism. Prime Minister Modi did allow the ISI to come to Pathankot. Earlier he had met Nawaz Sharif in an impromptu meeting. Then we have Pathankot. After Pathankot we have Uri. You tell me, why should India, give me one good reason why India should trust Imran Khan today when he calls for a joint probe on Pulwama? Give me one good reason.
Wow. Because he's Imran Khan. Because he's Imran Khan, and only Imran Khan could have done, the leader that he is. Whether you like him or not, you can call him a puppet of the army, you can call him a playboy, you can call him a lot of things. But here's what's really going on the ground. Khan has united the opposition today. Khan has united the army behind him. Now Khan, after years, has become a character in the Pakistani polity, and it's really important for you and your leadership to understand this. Khan has actual myriad aspects and poles in Pakistan. This is a very split up country, Rajdeep. And this man has not only very bravely stood up and offered to release, in fact has announced to release your officer with the greatest of respect. He's also gone on and burnt a lot of political capital in the last 48 hours and said that despite of the escalation, which has come from both sides, really, let's just be very honest, despite of a lack of evidence presented, despite of all of that, he has said that he's still open for talks. Any Pakistani leader who does that within burns a lot of political capital. I think it's time for the Indians tonight, watching this show, listening to you, and you're a dear friend, Rajdeep. You and I go back a long time to better times in the subcontinent. You know, and I know that it takes a lot for a Pakistani leader, considering the sort of country this is, to say those things, to do those things which have been done. So you can call him whatever you want to call him, but tonight, I didn't vote for Khan, I'll tell you that. But I will tell you this, that tonight, if South Asia has a leader who is respected on both sides of the border, his name is Imran Khan. That's my bet on him.
That's one way. This is not Imran Khan versus Narendra Modi. Hopefully, this is actually India versus Pakistan, which is let's be.
It's becoming, if I may, really quickly, I hate saying it, but it's becoming that, right? It's becoming that on both sides of the fence. And you know this because of the rhetoric being used, the language being used. Listen, it is completely within India's right to try to diplomatically isolate Pakistan. India's been doing that. Go ahead and do it. But the sheer aggression, the lack of follow-up, the lack of evidence, and then, of course, whatever happened soon after on this side of the border, goes on to say that still the Pakistanis, despite of that strike by the Indians, despite of not really showing any evidence, the Pakistanis even seem to be winning the optical war on this, by the way. They're taking BBC.
Okay, you're claiming this is an optical war at one level between Imran and Modi. We'll leave that aside for a moment, but Vivek Karju, do you believe, therefore,
Why is Imran Khan and his machine, why are we going to, can you imagine that it is Imran Khan who is making these announcements? Can you imagine it is the Pakistan army which is taking questions? The Indian foreign secretary is not taking any questions.
No, just a minute now. Wajad, just a minute.
When did this happen? When did the question?
Okay, Vajat respond. Sorry, Vivek Karju respond.
Why are you allowing this, Rajdeep?
Yeah, go ahead now. Respond, Vivek Karju. Respond to what you're hearing.
It is not the first point. It is not India versus Pakistan. It is India versus Pakistani terror. No, I have not heard a word from our Pakistani friend about the terror that Pakistan has spawned in India going back 3 decades. I have not heard a word from him about Imran Khan's connections with religious groups that have spread terror in Pakistan and in the region. Somehow Imran Khan has been transformed into a paragon of virtue and peace. No, please, let me continue.
Yeah,
we gave you enough time.
Vajat, let
Imran
Vivek
Khan
respond.
is the face of the army. As long as Imran Khan sings the army tune, he is acceptable. The moment he is not, he will be dumped. The Pakistan army today needs peace. Pakistan's economic situation is difficult. Pakistan is dependent on the Saudis and the Chinese. Yes, I do believe that the Pakistani informal economy can keep it afloat. But if Pakistan wants to turn a corner and not remain in the dumps that it is in, it will have to go for peace for India. The problem is that it wants to make these overtures for peace without changing course on terror. That is the real issue. And will our Pakistani friend have the courage to say that yes, Pakistan has spawned terror and that yes, Pakistan must stop that terror?
Vajat Khan, you have...
That is the real
Vajat Khan, will you say that very quickly? Will you admit in this program? Will you admit in this program that the Pakistan army has spawned terror directed against India? Will you admit, according to Vivek Karju, the issues that lie at the core of India's concerns? The fact that there is this terror machine that continues to operate right from Kandahar stretching on to today, and you never stop, and you simply buy time each time. Is 2019 different to what has happened in the past, Vajat Khan? Very quickly.
Well, if you're going to make me a spokesperson of the Foreign Office, something I never wanted to be, Rajdeep, even though I come from a family of civil servants, I would say that I will admit that, if you admit, Indian involvement on the streets of Karachi and in the mountains of Balochistan and in the valleys of the KP. Come on. I mean, is that what we're going to boil down to?
We don't have the Jaish-e-Mohammed and the Lashkar here.
Yeah, but you have the MQM and the BLA and the TTP. So, you know, just saying.
Oh, come on. MQM and BLA are your parties.
Are they?
Okay, let for a moment, let me for a moment step back again. Let me look at the gains and benefits. If we are talking of de-escalation, very quickly, Praveen Soni, since you're the one who set out very clearly to say we haven't done enough, we haven't achieved our goals. What do you want? You want us to go and respond to Pakistani aggression? Do you want us to go up the escalatory ladder? If Mr. Modi and the government are looking at an opportunity to de-escalate, why not support it?
See, this particular instance we started, it is the Indian Air Force which went inside and they simply responded. Now, all that we talk about, the terror being spawned by the Pakistan army, they will not stop. The question is, in the last 30 years, have we built enough deterrence, military capabilities to compel them to stop? That is what we have not done.
So you're saying our fighting machine, our war machine is still not effective enough to deter Pakistan?
Not at all.
We are not ready for that long war that we need.
We are not ready for any war right now.
General Dua, that's a very, very controversial statement that our preparedness is not there. Very quickly, as someone who was a joint corps commander during the surgical strike, a quick response from you.
I don't agree with my friend Praveen, who says we are not ready for a war. Now the point is, it is his perception of how much we are ready and how much we are not ready. But that apart, my point, the larger point is, it's a paradigm shift. We've actually moved in, we've done what we wanted, like I said earlier, and we as militarily, we have now imposed that caution on Pakistan that we can do it. We can do it to you inside your territory as well. Well,
enough.
when
Is that
we
enough
did
of a
something like
deterrence?
that, did we
Is
expect
that
that
enough
they'll
of
not
a
respond
deterrence?
at all?
General Dua, is that enough of a deterrent? We saw what happened after the surgical strikes. Terrorism only increased. Terrorism, let's be very clear. Are we telling our viewers, our citizens of this country, that as a result of the airstrike carried out by Mr. Modi's government 2 days ago, terror from Pakistan will stop? Is that what we are saying? That is not what Imran Khan is saying. I haven't heard a single statement from Imran Khan saying that.
No. You are right. What has taken 30 years to build up over there, we have carried out only 2 such strikes, the surgical strikes 2 years ago and one this airstrike, where we have hit him across. So far, we had not been doing it. So in 2 strikes, we are not going to be able to dismantle all the terror camps and all the terror infrastructure if we have to do it by ourselves. You are right that Pakistan has not said anything. The panelist from Pakistan did not talk about the terrorism, neither did anyone from the Pak government, including the Prime Minister. The point is, we will now be able to put pressure on them with such strikes from the other side rather than just controlling things in Kashmir.
Okay, I get your point. Very quickly, Praveen, you wanted to respond to that.
Diplomatic hard set.
So,
That we need, this is going to have to be a multiple approach. This cannot just be an approach of striking Pakistan. We need to have coercive diplomacy, surround Pakistan, get the UN in a sense to proscribe the likes of Masood Azhar, get China on board. This is going to have to be done at multiple levels. Yes.
There is a paradigm shift in the way this government has dealt with terror. In the sense they're willing to take kinetic or punitive action against that. That is one option that you've opened out. Earlier you would say, I wouldn't cross and do these things. So what you're doing is you're expanding your options to deal with it. It is a long game. No one is saying that you go bang and think that
it's
Pakistan
a long
will
game.
capitalize.
Okay, point taken. Yes, very quickly now, Praveen.
See, what General Dua said and what my friend here said, the point of the matter is these surgical strikes by the army, we have done them before, we have done them better. Now what we did was against terror targets, we've done them against the Pakistani posts.
But we've gone way inside Pakistan.
The point is this will not help for the simple reason what we have not done is build capabilities for a war. Now why I'm saying this is war means that we do not have the escalation capabilities which we saw yesterday.
You say we don't have the escalation capabilities. Okay.
That is what it is.
Okay, that's a military analyst speaking, and there is something to be looked at very closely. Yesterday we saw our MiG-21s were combating the F-16s, 40-year-old MiG-21s, and we've got to ask ourselves, do we need to be better equipped for the long war? I'm also joined at this moment by Nirupama Rao, former Foreign Secretary, joins me at the moment. Nirupama Rao, how should we interpret what we are hearing today? Imran Khan saying, I'm ready for talks with India, ready to pick up the phone and speak to Narendra Modi. Should the Prime Minister immediately say today, let's talk? Imran Khan, he claims, as per reports, that he's ready to talk on all issues, including terror.
Well, I think we have to verify before we can trust. It's, turning the adage on its head, as it were. Of course, the Pakistan Prime Minister has said he is willing to talk, and he's announced that they will release our pilot by tomorrow. The announcement of the release of Wing Commander Abhinandan is, of course, a positive development, and we should, obviously, we are all looking forward to his safe return. I hope everything goes well as far as that is concerned. I think we have to dial down the rhetoric. There's been a lot of rhetoric generated from both sides. I think we have to weigh the implications of every word we say in the current situation. As far as the strikes against the terror camps well inside Pakistan territory, I've always said that India was fully justified in taking that step. But the question arises as to what our long-term strategy is. Obviously, if Pakistan is now saying talk and, enjoins us to enter into dialogue, no dialogue can begin without a full-scale, comprehensive discussion about the threat that we face from terror generated from within Pakistan.
So you're saying
no dialogue can move forward unless India's concerns on that front are fully addressed.
But ma'am, if you are saying an effective composite dialogue that puts terror on top, the Pakistanis will say, okay, but we also want Kashmir on top. Then what do we do? I mean, you know, we are finding then you find yourself back to square one. I'm just trying to understand what kind of a dialogue are you talking about with Pakistan in the backdrop of Pulwama? Is it Pulwama first, terror first?
It is terror first and terror last, really, because any talk of a composite dialogue is really, you know, without any foundation unless this clear and present danger that we face from Pakistani territory is addressed. Too much has happened, too much damage has been caused to India, and the people of India will not accept anything less than that.
People of India will not accept anything less than that. In that sense now, we've sent out a strong message to Pakistan. Pakistan has responded. The next act will involve perhaps more statesmanship and possibly diplomatic efforts rather than just a military exercise. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out in the days ahead. Thank you all very much for joining me here on my special discussion today. My take: 24 hours is a long time in the breaking news cycle, and so it appears it is in the case of an Indo-Pak conflict. A day after an Indian pilot was taken captive and 2 days after India's airstrike, New Delhi and Islamabad seem to be moving in gradual concert to de-escalate under world pressure. Imran Khan's decision to release the pilot was a good first step, and India seems willing to reciprocate, at least for now. A line has been drawn in the sand by the Narendra Modi government that it will strike against Pak-based terror groups if provoked, like in Pulwama. The question now is, will the let's go to war rhetoric continue in an election season? This is the challenge for the Prime Minister to ensure his party rises above partisan domestic pressures. Mr. Modi has won the initial perception battle by showing himself to be a strong leader. Now he needs to show himself as a statesman who won't allow the armed forces and their bravery to be politicized, nor dub any criticism of his government as anti-national. Remember always, our defense forces don't belong to any party but to the country. So as we move ahead, no more patriotism certificates, please.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.